This is episode 266 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel, Gonk, not here right now, Manzano, Will, you're all clear, kid, Hagwood.
Now let's pull this thing and go home.
And Ryan, first day of daycare, Staniszewski.
Yep, Ollie had his first day of daycare today.
Arwen,
He did all right.
love it. Arwen graduated today, kindergarten celebration, promotion, whatever they're calling it now. But yeah, it was super cute. It was fun. All right, down to the real stuff now. So announcements and news. If you didn't hear about it, AMG was supposed to have their mini extravaganza, and then they couldn't because they all got COVID. So that stinks. Just having had dealing with that ourselves here at GSP, but luckily we don't all work in the same office. So you know, I was out with it, but they did drop some nuggets and tidbits on us, specifically the Battle of Yavin pack. So today we're going to go over what those cards are and answer some of the questions that I saw popping up. Like, people were excited about the cards, but then, of course, you know, one answer springs other questions, and I'd like to address that, have that conversation with you guys. But before we do that, I want to let you guys know that our podcast is brought to you by our Gold Squadron patrons, our largest group of supporters. Patrons have access to patron-only channels on our Discord, and depending on what level you are, you get quarterly swag. A reminder for patrons, Quarter 2 and Quarter 3 are shipping together due to production issues, and everything is in. Everything is ready to go. It needs to be packed. My shipper will be getting all you guys information in the next week, and things will be going out. So super excited for that. You should be seeing emails with tracking numbers and all that heading to you very, very soon. So, the Battle of Yavin. Battle of Yavin, they dropped on us an article that had a bunch of things. And I made a version of the article where I highlighted some things I wanted to talk about. But do we want to just jump into the cards first? Do we think that's the hardest hitting stuff, or do we want to talk about something else first?
No, start with the article. Give us the overview of why they have these cards.
All right, cool. So I'm going to show you guys the pretty version because it's the pretty version, and then I'll look at my boring version here because I can actually like manipulate it some.
Sorry.
Bam. All right, cool. Wait, what? Why is there?
See that fireball dial?
Well, there's a fireball.
Random fireball dial.
Okay.
So there's two of me now.
There's two of you again.
And there's no Dion.
Boop. Boop. Yeah. Boop. There
Magic.
We go. And the random fireball. That is from this weekend's stream. There it is. All right, cool. We did it. We did it together. Okay, so a lot of words here. I would suggest, if you're curious, go ahead and read them. But what I wanted to start with is, where's my what in the world? Please hold, friends. I just had, there it is. Okay, so they talk about here that scenario packs are a new type of expansion for X-Wing, and one of the first words that I came across is in the second paragraph, which they actually do just straight up end up telling us later, but they end up saying each scenario pack contains all kinds of stuff. So we got standard loadout ship cards for the battle and a unique scenario, which is super cool. So let's tell the people, Will, what is a standard loadout card for somebody who doesn't know what that is?
Well, it is a new type of pilot card that includes not only your pilot ability and your ship chassis ability, but also upgrades now available to you, all onto one single piece of card.
Cool. Now, one of the things they did have they were answering some questions about these in different chats, and I believe they had mentioned that that these pilots are going to be usable in the standard game, right? Staniszewski?
That has. Oh,
yeah, they're going to be available in the standard format as well to be taken. We don't know the squad points yet, but you cannot change anything about their loadout. It is as is printed on the card.
Yeah. So it's interesting, you know, the idea of quick builds was something that existed since the onset of second edition, but it looked very different. It looked very different. I find it interesting that we have what I think is a more usable, number one, usable version of it, and something that if it was in a box of a ship, I'm not immediately gonna throw it in the recycling bin because I can actually use it in the regular game, right? So they go on to explain a bunch of this. Now, one of the things I love I gotta find this paragraph when they talk about the TIE Interceptor. It's like they already saw the comments out there, like the TIE Interceptor wasn't at the Battle of Yavin according to the movies. All right, like there was all that, and I absolutely love that that they go ahead and call it out here in the article. You know, while it's true the Interceptor didn't appear in the film, they basically go on to say that they worked with Lucasfilm and basically just asked them, like, hey, were Interceptors anywhere around? Is it a possibility? And LFL was like, yeah, that's cool. They said, LFL, we wanted to ensure that scenario packs provide an exciting range of new content, so we worked with LFL and determined that it was likely that the prototype TIE IN interceptors were a part of the fleet of composition surrounding the Death Star, and that Iden Versio and Sigma Squadron were some of the initial test pilots for these starfighters. So, you know, for our canon fiends, all right, for our canon fiends, we have some answers there. I know that there were there was, I saw some pretty loud stuff like they're breaking Star Wars, or like, are they messing with their license? But it's cool that they were able to go and do that. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen the X-Wing developers like come to what I'm going to say a deal with LFL to get something in the game. You guys remember the other one of the other ones?
Doesn't come to mind immediately, no.
The Imperial Raider. That was designed.
Yeah.
That was designed by Fantasy Flight Games at the time because they wanted an epic scale ship in X-Wing. And now, like, people know of it now because of, like, Star Wars Battlefront, and it's been seen in different films now and all this. But it started with our game, which I think is super cool. And yeah, and then they also mentioned that there are more scenario packs coming. All right, they right at the end of the article, they're like, yeah, cool. More coming right here. But more scenario packs are coming soon. I mean, what, off the top of your guys' head, what other, if they did Battle of Yavin, what other Battle of blanks do you think we could be getting?
Coruscant.
There you go. That would be
It's got a lot of prequel ships involved in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Endor as well. Very iconic.
Death Star 2?
Exegol.
Yeah.
Exegol has everything.
Yeah.
The Escape from Dakar. Basically, pick a space battle from any of the movies.
Oh, what about the opening, like the assault on the Dreadnought from The Last Jedi? The opening conflict there. Could be a way to get Star Fortresses in.
I think that is the Escape from Dakar. I think that's basically them trying to get away if they're leaving the planet because the First Order showing up. That was that space battle. Starkiller Base, right? Escape from Hoth. You know, the space trying to leave and get away from the blockade of Imperial Star Destroyers. Battle of Scarif. Some nice stuff in there too.
Oh, that's for sure. We'll get all those Blue Squadron X-Wing pilots.
Blue Squadron. Yeah.
New Strikers and all that. Reapers.
Strikers, Reapers. Yes. Yes. Battle of Hoth. That's where we get the air speeder.
I'm tempted to say Hoth. Yeah. That would be weird, but pretty cool.
Curious. Is the air speeder smaller than an Ada? Was T-47?
No, they're bigger. Adas are very small.
Carry on.
Yeah. So that, that's the kind of overview. We'll go over the pilots here in a second. But I also wanted to bring up a couple of the questions that I saw immediately when this started getting talked about. One of the questions was, will these pilots cost the same as their non-standard loadout counterparts? I know I have my opinions. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say first, though.
I mean, I would have to compare side by side, but I assume that they are somewhat equivalent.
I mean, when these standardized cards were originally talked about at a past extravaganza, I think, when they were talking about all the things in the pipeline, it was a combination of they could be cheaper because you can't customize them at all, but they can also have access to slots and upgrade cards that the original version can't, which could then level itself back up and increase costs, even though it is a set-only one loadout. So it could be anywhere. My guess is it's more likely going to be the same or cheaper. And I think it's going to be a very rare case where it's going to be more expensive than the customized or loadout choosy version, because being able to choose whatever kind of loadout you want to put on the ship, barring its points capacity, still very, very good.
Yeah, and one of my thoughts is when AMG took over X-Wing. I remember specifically it was Simone who was talking about X-Wing, and she says that she loved the fact that the pilots had subtitles. She says, I'm a huge fan of subtitles. And right there, when I was thinking about today's show and thinking about these cards, that when I think about, for instance, Poe, we have Trigger Happy Flyboy Poe and Commander, right? So, I mean, these are kind of an extension. Obviously, they're standard loadout, but they're an extension of the subtitle, because how are we going to identify them on a spreadsheet or quickly, right? You have, I'm flying Darth Vader. Which one? The Battle of Yavin. Right, it's an extension of the subtitle system, which I think is really cool. And I think right there that tells us, as for what are the points going to cost, I don't know, but they will be different and or the same. That's my answer, because even if these were all just pilots without, with let's say just a different pilot ability, they would just have a different subtitle, and they'd be pointed more or less depending on where the power curve is. But I think the reason, one of the reasons I'm excited about it, is because they are adjustable in points, which was a problem with the original quick build cards. Let me see if I can find a picture of one quickly. But those quick build cards were fixed because they had what do they call them?
They look like little notches or dashes at the top.
Are you talking about threat?
They're threat.
Threats.
Yeah, they're threat
Yes.
level. Yeah. Yeah, physically on the card, there were like these dashes on the top, and it would range in color as start from an orange and then shift into like a pink or a fuchsia that would increase. Like as you got more threat, it increased in its color towards that pink or fuchsia from a orange, or even yellow. There was actually yellow as a 2, orange as a 3. And I think pink or fuchsia, and like maybe even red at some point.
Yeah. So I find it funny, you know, in hindsight, right? Hindsight's 2020, that in the transition to second edition, Fantasy Flight Games was like, you know, we're going to make it so that the points can be updated and changed as we balance. But then at the same time, they paired it with a fixed system, which, if you remember that first Gen Con where the quick builds went out, we all looked at Darth Vader and went, this is really good.
Have you ever taken a look at the Sunfok quick build card?
Yeah, that was
really dumb.
That one's really dumb too.
Yeah, it's like three threat only, and it's got like afterburners and predator and ensnare. It's got everything Sunfok would want at the time. For,
yeah,
like, very low threat. You're right though. It is really weird that it's weird now that we think back on it. Right, hindsight 2020, but it was a siloed format, separate from the traditional format we used in the start of second edition. Now that AMG is taking this philosophy as a type of build you can use and integrating it into the normal play, on top of it also just being easier to use for a new player. So it is easier and inviting for a new player. They can actually think about and be like, man, this is the Battle of Yavin, like this version of this ship.
Yep.
That's actually pretty cool. And as we go forward and get more of these scenario packs, and we get scenarios that have two or three different scenarios that have the same pilot, but they have their different versions, it sounds cool to like, oh, did you bring the Battle of Endor, Luke, or the Battle of Yavin, or the Battle of Endor Wedge, or the Battle of Yavin Wedge? Like, oh no, I brought this one because I thought this was cool and worked with this one. Like, oh yeah, that one sounds great too. Like, then you have like so much stuff.
Gives you more playability with the same ship models, right? That's the most expensive thing that we invest in. All right. Now, the other question that came up quite a bit was, what about my ships? I want new ships. Give me the ships. And my response to that, now we had various levels of that question, all the way from like, oh, I hope they're working on new ships, to be like, look, you see, this is proof they're not working on any ships. Bottom of the barrel's empty, there's nothing there. But I think there's a couple of realities that we have to remember. One, they have openly admitted that producing ships takes time. Right? When they first got on board, they're like, yeah, production timeline for a new ship is something going to be like 1.5 to 2 years. Like they flat out and told us. All right. I personally think this is a good on them being able to get out brand new X-Wing content that is theirs so fast. These are significantly quicker to print and mass produce than a plastic model. It's just the truth. So it was a solution to get product out sooner, and I would guess, my guess is that AMG design ships around the corner at some point, but they're gonna have some hold me over product, things like this, the Battle of Yavin, to get them there, because they got a tool, you know, got a tool and produce ships, all the shipping fiascos, all the things. Other thoughts on that question, friends?
I mean, I have two sides to this. One, like they being Asmodee gave X-Wing to what is now a miniature studio. So it seems pretty silly to have a miniature studio not making miniatures. But then again, though, Armada also is a complete game. So I'm not really sure if we are going down the Armada route, or should there still be some new models on the way. I mean, obviously, I'm hopeful that there will be so much more content available. I mean, new TV shows, new movies, plenty of new Star Wars stuff to get these from. So it seems inevitable. But my fear is that X-wing. We'll never get another model.
It'll happen, Will. It'll happen.
I hope so.
It'll happen. And like I see there's somebody in the chat, Danger Man was like, but it's been 2 years. I get, listen, they had the stuff that FFG designed, right? Like that was already in the pipeline, but there was like a mass takeover for the game, right? Like it's a big transition. The fact that they had something, I think the fact that they had something to be announced like as the next step at all, I think it's thumbs up, because they think about the work that these people have been doing. They updated the rules reference. Yeah, they completely rehauled the game. You know, like there's stuff going on. And on top of that, in my opinion, like if you've never had anything produced, all right, so I've gotten, you know, prizes made and all that. Really, do not forget that we are just barely getting out of the there's words I can't really use in the podcast, but the craziness that was production for anybody on any scale over the last couple years. Yeah. I think we're still on track. I think we're okay. We're okay. Now, Ryan, the other thing that people have been saying, it's like, well, there are no more ships. What ships? It's over. It's the end. You have any response?
Ha! Sure. One, we still got some we know of now. Two, as you just said, there's some more stuff in the Star Wars pipeline of churning from the mouse. All right, you know, you got just the Obi-Wan TV show. Got a couple ships in there. You're like, that could be an X-wing. But I mean, if we go down like, you know, we kind of put together our own little list of stuff that kind of remind us, like, all right, what are the things that aren't in the game yet? From the Republic faction, you got Counselor class space cruiser, you got the Twilight, a couple of their shuttles of varying types that they've had that you see them fly in Clone Wars, Eta class, Theta class. I think there's one more that's used to carry troops more so. In the Separatists, you got the Sheathipede. Came out for the Rebels first, but is technically a Separatist ship before that. The Umbaran fighter. We got Nantex. Why can't we have Umbaran fighters? We got Asajj's ship, the Genevex Fanblade. Mm-hmm. Will we see the Snow Speeder in the Rebel Alliance? Maybe. It is about the same size of the Eta. It's actually a tad smaller. I mean, if the Striker's supposed to be a predominantly in-atmosphere ship, we can see the Snow Speeder. Well, yeah. It'll be fine. Scum, I mean, Dion, go ahead. You say it's one of your favorites.
The Archangel, give it to me. Let's go, Dr. Aphra. Also, you like basically pick a bounty hunter and their ship. Like, there's still plenty of bounty hunters we haven't done. We got Hondo's flying saucer that we saw.
I have no idea if that thing is massively too big, but the Gauntlet's massively too big for most of X-Wing anyway. So whatever.
Scale, just throw it out the window. It's fine. Yeah. I think Brian, had you wrote here the wizard ship?
No, I put the wizard ship.
There you go.
That's like no spoilers though. Come on.
Yeah. So Mando's Naboo Starfighter. What else?
Someone's gonna be mad at you about that somehow.
Well, that's fine.
It's too late. It's been months at this point.
The GX1 short hauler, which we already saw in an Asmodee product, Outer Rim, could be a potential scum ship as well.
What about some of the other factions?
I mean, the Imperials having so many variations of ties from Legends, plus the pack everybody is actually asking for, the TIE Bomber in Lambda. If I'm not mistaken, the last of the original trilogy. In fact, probably just all movie of the original trilogy. The only ships remaining, the TIE Bomber and the Lambda. Mm-hmm. Put them together, make it a special pack. seems so easy. It's printing money, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Though in the sequels, we did see most of that Battle of Azagol ships be new. First Order had the TIE daggers, the Doritos ones, the Night Buzzard, the Knights of Ren's shuttle that they flew around in. Then the TIE Echelon, best known for its Galaxy's Edge appearance, possible shuttle as well. But then that Battle of Azagol for the Resistance has everything you could imagine, including B-Wings. But also, you could go the other route, and because we have the Fireball, we could see the other racers out of... is that TV show just called Resistance?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know if it had a subtitle or something like that. But they have also some pretty cool models. That could be, I guess, a scenario pack.
Yeah.
It was racing around Colossus Station.
Could even turn into like, so there's that droid soccer kit. You could have a racer's kit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is what I'm thinking, yeah. It could be an inspiration for a new scenario.
There you go. And the other one that showed up in the Star Wars Resistance was the T-85 X-Wing. All right.
True.
So
we missed this one, but mentioned twice in the chat the specialized Omicron shuttle from the Bad Batch series.
Yes. I mean isn't it an Eta class shuttle?
No, they said it's actually an Omicron, which is weird, but it's a different Omicron design.
Okay.
They like shaved its top wing off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, we just mentioned like 3 or 4 different ships for every faction. Like, there's still stuff there, and there is content coming, right? There's content being made for Star Wars actively, so we'll get more stuff. And I know we were a little light on Rebels, but I'm expecting to see some ships during Andor. I need some ships during Andor, that TV show. Yeah, we got some stuff. We got some stuff to go through, and I'm excited for when we get it. Now, the other thing that people have been mentioning, being like, well, why haven't they just been doling out the reprints then? Because that could be easy, right? That could be very easy, just going black box reprints. But I think it's easy to forget that Fantasy Flight stopped doing those reprints in the first place. And while they never came out and said it, why do you here's the watermelon, guys. Why do you think they stopped reprinting them?
Didn't sell enough. Simple. They're reprints. If most of their player base already has the physical models, not a lot of them are going to opt into the reprints. My guess is the most... If I were to take a shot in the dark as the most popular reprinted ships, it's any of them that gained the wing mobilities, your B-Wings, your X-Wings, and your Fang Fighters.
Yep.
People, like, I bought the B-Wing just to have, like, the little flappy wings. This was really cool, and it could spin around the head. I was like, man, this B-Wing is so mobile, so cool. Like, I put it on the table, and I put in all these different things as I flew it around and everything.
Yeah. But we don't need, if it was a brand new ship, you would have bought 2, maybe 3 of them, right? Some people, you have those players who are like, I buy as many as I can fit in a squad. Like, with the reprints, and I know, like, there's the logic being like, but what about the new players? Yeah, but what about the money? Like, it's just the reality is the people who are actively playing the game, if you don't sell, you don't sell. So I think likely if I could be a fly on the wall with conversations that happen with reprints, is there needs to be some type of strategy around the re-release that can get us to pay for it.
You want to know how you do that? You make scenario packs like the one we're getting with Battle of Yavin. You know, that Lambda shuttle and TIE bomber might sync up really well with in the future. Either Battle of Endor or Escape from Hoth.
There you go. So, you know, I'm sure these are conversations that have been had on the business side, but I mean that's a money issue. But now that we got through the nitty gritty, the hard to talk about, let's look at cards. All right, let's do that.
That's the fun part.
So I'm gonna head over to our Discord. We do have a new card images section, so we're just gonna head over there. Boom, shaka laka. I think we actually have an individual. Oh, there we go. We'll start right there. Will, feel free, pick one. Which one do you want?
Ooh, I'm gonna take the Darth Vader. So, this is Darth Vader, Battle of Yavin, flying his advanced X1. Has the same chassis ability we're all familiar with, the advanced targeting computer. Roll an extra red dice, change a hit to a crit. Pretty standard there. He's got the same action bar, focus to red barrel roll, lock, white barrel roll. But his stat line's a little different. 2 attack, 3 agility, 3 hull, all pretty standard for the Imperial tie. But this Battle of Yavin gets that shield upgrade for free. He's got 3 shields and 3 force. Now he does have a new ability. Well, is it new? While you perform an attack, you may spend 1 force to change 1 blank result to a hit.
It's
very similar. Yes, exactly. Without the defensive restriction. I guess it's the attack only restriction. So that's definitely new and different. In addition to that, though, it does have the upgrades, marksmanship for crits in the bullseye, heat to get force back when suffering damage, and afterburners to do a boost when you do a 3 to 5 speed maneuver. So, man, the lack of 2 things for this Darth Vader: fire control system to keep your locks, and the multiple actions where you could trigger together locks and then into a barrel roll.
This is a cheaper Vader, right? This is a cheaper Vader?
I mean, I have to assume that this might be the one that's a point cheaper than standard loadout.
This I'm pretty sure is not going to be the same as currently 7-point X1 Vader. This definitely feels a point less. Maybe even 2. That seems a little far for me, though.
No. 6 points feels about right on this one.
It's still an I6, right? Like, it still has
an
that.
I6. But you're missing out on the availability of your tech slot. And like I said, that the best thing you could do, in my opinion, for Vader is lock, spend his single force to do the focus linked into the roll. So 1 stress, 1 force, and you've taken all 3 of your actions. This guy's going to feel a little bit slow. Comparatively, which makes sense. You don't need to be barrel rolling in the trench. Look at what that one TIE fighter got for trying to barrel roll. Messed it all up.
Was a bad day. Was a bad day. All right, Ryan, what about Luke Skywalker?
All right, Luke in the Battle of Yavin. His stat line is the same. There's no shield upgrade in this Luke. Just 3 attack, 2 agility, 4 hull, 2 shields, 2 force. Keeps the same pilot ability. After you're declared the defender during attack, you may recover force charge. But has gained, basically, the ship itself, or the pilot is gained hope, aka hopeful, the talent. After another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, you perform a focus or boost action. So very thematic with the whole, trying to take down the Death Stars. These guys are being taken down. We got to keep our hope for the movie A New Hope to destroy the Death Star in the Battle of Yavin. It's instinctive aim, which is the same. So you got to be very careful on some of these wordings. Some of these will catch you later if there actually is a new thing about them. Proton Torpedoes, still standard. An R2-D2 Astromech. After you reveal your dial, you may spend a charge, which is 2, then gain 1 disarm token to recover your shields. Same R2. But to note, this Luke has something called attack speed, because there is no servo motors as foils on this Luke. In a way, it's kind of built in, but kind of not, because it's not the same. Attack speed is after you fully execute a 3 or 4 straight maneuver. You just going straight. You may perform a boost with a 1 straight. So, not a boost action. So, like the ailerons, it's just boost. And on top of that, it's only the 1 straight. So, you're basically doing either a 5 straight, because it's a 3 plus your base and a 1. And then, or you're doing a 6 straight, because you're doing a 4 plus your base plus a 1. So you're just going straight very fast. Besides that, you are just a base X-Wing with no...
I did notice one small detail. This R2-D2 only has 2 charges versus the 3.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I knew I missed something. I thought there was something.
Very slight change on that.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. I mean, you got to keep them alive in the trench. They did say, if you read the the scenario pack article, it does mention that there is a trench run aspect to it. Like they haven't exactly spoiled what it is, but you are trying to blow up the Death Star as part of the theme. I don't know how that works on a 3x3, but it will be fun to find out how they did it. All right. Pretty cool. Let's keep it going here. So, as we go here, we have Iden Versio, one of those TIE interceptors. Initiative 4. We'll notice here, 3 attack, 3 agility, 3 hull, like normal. But we got a shield on this Iden Versio. And she has 2 charges. 2 charges that are recurring. So
1 at a time, though.
1 at a time. But it's a slightly different ability. Okay? A less powerful ability, but still you can use it now every other turn. Before a friendly TIE at range 0 to 1 would suffer damage, you may spend 2 charges. If you do, prevent 1 hit or crit result. So that is a lot of flexibility. It works on herself as well as others. We have sensitive controls on these or on this TIE interceptor. During the system phase, you may perform a red barrel roll or boost. Action bar is still the same, focus, evade, roll, boost. And then for the built-in upgrades, we have Predator, getting that reroll in the bullseye. And then we have a new talent called Fanatic. All right. Will sound familiar here in a minute, but while you perform a primary attack, if you are damaged, you may change 1 focus to a hit result. Very similar to Fanatical from the First Order. Not quite, but it's, I think, for First Order, they say not shielded, and this is damaged, right? So you got to be slightly more worse along.
Yeah, that Iden ability, because it can work every other turn and it's not once per entire game, and can work on any TIE and not just a TIE LN fighter. I mean, there's... the original Iden ability is probably still better, but this isn't far off by any means. Mm-hmm. Because preventing a single damage, like blank, that's it, like hit or crit you get to choose, and it's range 0 to 1, and that does include yourself, and it's any TIE, which is most of the ships in the entire Empire. That's a lot of really good protection.
It's the equivalent of just gaining a focus evade. And then, but also having Hera's ability at range 1. to give it to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, this is, if I were to guess, because granted, this is an Iden in the Interceptor. This is basically a whole new ship.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't have a baseline of like, well, what's the customized version cost? Like, there isn't a customized Interceptor Iden Versio. But this definitely feels like a 5-point Interceptor with that ability.
I mean, with the shield upgrade as well. Like, so now you're essentially 5 health in the opening salvo.
Yep.
I could see it. Though I do have a question though.
Yes.
And this comes about the ship ability sensitive controls. We see it here no longer as a configuration. Now, what is your guesses on if I can bring an auto thrusters interceptor with this card in standard?
I think you probably could, because the actual card sensitive controls, right? I almost look at it as like different subtitles. It's the upgrade sensitive controls says everybody's got to have it, but this is just isolated to this one pilot. At least that's the way I look at it. Ryan, any other perceptions?
I don't think there's any confusion or issue. I mean, we actually had a similar thing going on already within the Separatist faction. The Rogue class Starfighter, Cad Bane has dead to rights. All the other droids have network calculations. So the question was, can you equip independent calculations on your network droids if you have Cad Bane in the list? Because then you can't technically standardize all of your rogues to have independent calc, because Cad Bane doesn't have dead to rights in the first place. So there was confusion. I think came to the general conclusion that it's standardized for the ships that have network calculations to get independent calculations. Similar to the Interceptor, they're going to be equipped, like this Iden has sensitive controls, but not the upgrade that says it's standardized. The upgrade that says it's standardized takes all the interceptors that do have auto thrusters, changes them. Now, whether I wonder if all TIE interceptors now, when they come out with this, will be sensitive controls versions or not. Because, like, what happens then if you take a standardized one that is reversed? It's auto thruster, but then you take a customized interceptor and make it sensitive controls. That's where it's like,
I feel like they would have to, yeah. It's weird that if they ever do, then droids, what their decision on that will be.
Well, maybe
because I assume I can't add upgrades to this standardized loadout. That doesn't make any sense.
So what does it mean for the rest of your ships in the whole list if you want their customized versions and if they want the standardized upgrades?
Sounds like we'll only be getting sensitive controls then, for interceptors.
Or they'll clarify wording in some capacity.
Yeah. Can I say I really like the art on this one. Obviously it's a ship flying and shooting, but if you look at the glass here, you have the reflection of the X-wing that she's chasing. So super cool. Let's go ahead and have Marcel break down Pop's Krail for the Y-wing Battle of Yavin.
Good evening, Marcel. Glad you can make it.
Good morning. So don't eat. I had some very delicious Thai fried rice. Watched Obi-Wan and passed out for about 2.5 hours. It was perfect. So yeah, now I'm ready to podcast. All right. What are we talking about? Pop's Krail, Battle of Yavin. While you perform a what is that? A rotation?
A turret.
What do you call it?
A turret attack.
Arc. Still half asleep. While you perform a turret arc attack, you may re-roll up to 2 attack dice, and it comes with a standard loadout of ion cannon turret. You guys already know what an ion cannon turret. Ion cannon turret.
Ion carrot turret. I love it.
Words are hard. And then the Advanced Proton Torpedo. Again, you guys are already familiar with what Advanced Proton Torpedo does. And then an R4 astromech to decrease the difficulty of your speed 1 and 2 basic maneuvers. So you're gaining some benefit on the Ion, not necessarily any additional benefit on the Advanced Proton Torpedo. I mean, it's good. It's like the Resistance Y-wing that basically almost always is guaranteeing that it hits on its ion cannon. So, I mean, no hate on it.
I'm conflicted on what
does the action bar, is it any different, or is it just like a regular?
Same thing.
Oh, wait, it also has hope. Actually, let me read that. Hope. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, you may perform a focus or boost action. It's interesting that they included it there instead of including it as an elite pilot talent or talent slot.
All of the Battle of Yavin have that chassis ability.
Oh, okay. So
all of
X-Wings and Y-Wings.
seen.
True.
True.
I would guess that it's probably all of them. There's a good,
Specifically the
good
X-Wings
chance.
and Y-Wings right now.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, does Han have it? We'll find out in a bit. My only problem with Pops is what action are you trying to take? Because if you take Focus to try to do 2 mods on your ion cannon, you might miss out on that Advanced Proton Torpedo. But if you're only taking locks chasing that Advanced Proton Torpedo, you might be wasting your rerolls on your ion cannon.
But I guess it depends.
You could in one of the early turns take a lock on your intended target, and if they end up in your turret arc, just take your free rerolls and then keep the lock around and just say, "Still got it. It's waiting for you."
Well, I was going to say that there are plenty of Rebel options, and you said you haven't gotten to Han yet, but there's plenty of Rebel options that give you a second action from Lando, Fen Rao. So there's the other Y-Wing, what's his name? The one that gives you a free target lock.
Dutch.
So there's plenty of ways to get both the focus and the target lock on this ship. Plenty of coordinators.
I mean, I do like taking the lock and then triggering Hopeful to either boost into range 1 or get the focus double modded. That seems very good. But I don't know. Will you put the turret in the front then for range 2?
No,
so you leave it
I
to the
put it on
side?
the side, I think. I mean, the ability is basically the same exact end result of when Grievous is shooting out of someone's arc. You're rerolling 2 attack dice. It's already considered to be pretty strong by itself. So, what you could do is utilize that ion cannon turret to help set up coming back around with that Advanced Proton Torpedo. You may not get it exactly the next turn or even a couple turns after, but it's one of those things is once you got that lock, you're just a shark waiting. Like you're just the threat of the Advanced Proton Torpedo. Because once you have that lock and you just hold on to it and just keep using your rerolls with the ion cannon turret and just focusing the entire time, whatever that ship is that's still alive, like don't be in front of me, range 1.
Be a bad place. All right. There's Pops. Next, we have Han Solo. Will.
All right. Han Solo, obviously in the Millennium Falcon, though this one says modified. I have questions about that as well. But anyways, same stats, 3 attack dice, bow tie, 1 agility, 8 hull, 5 shields. But this one has 4 non-recurring charges and has the ability then, after performing an attack that hits you may spend 1 charge to perform a coordinate action. So that's very good timing to coordinate, which is during combat. Can't get better board knowledge than that. In addition, though, has the ability solo. While you defend or perform an attack, if there are no other friendly ships at range 0 to 1, you may spend 1 of your charges to reroll 1 of your dice. So now you have options. So for that pool of 4 charges, are you going to be coordinating? Or are you going to need to use those rerolls to make sure that you can hit to perform that coordinate action? So that's very interesting, the limitation of both of those abilities. Going on to the upgrades, we have Chewbacca, of course. After you perform an evade action, which is on their action bar, you may perform 1 focus, or you may gain 1 focus token. Wow. Can't stress enough about how good that is. But we'll quickly move on to rigged cargo chute. I think we're all familiar with that as an action to drop it behind you. Millennium Falcon title is the same. Defending, if you're evading, you get to reroll a defense dice. But this is new, a little blend of the Scum version. L337's programming. If you're not shielded, decrease the difficulty of your bank maneuvers. So now it does not have the engine upgrade. You are stuck with that red boost, but you can get better banking once your shields are down. Once you made that initial pass on the trench and you try to get out of there, try to get home, you can use L33's programming and some boost actions to really get some speed underneath the man, to me, while the 4 charges are so good, I just can't get over the Chewbacca action. Focus and evade, and you have rerolls for defense, but then you only have limited rerolls for your Han Solo ability. This guy is going to be very good out there, and that's before he even starts coordinating.
Man can do it all by himself.
Yeah, that's going to be one heck of a ship.
Yeah. So pretty awesome there. I gotta say I love the theme. Gotta love the theme here. Them throwing in, Chewbacca obviously helping them, but the L337, like that, it made me go, oh, like just because it hasn't been recognized, that bridge between Solo, a Star Wars story, and Episode 4. So this, does a little bit of that.
Even the pilot ability, it's like literally when Han shows up, shoots the TIE fighter, hits it, and it goes careening off, and Luke's able to go and shoot the proton torpedoes at the Death Star hole. It's just after you perform attack and hits, he hit that TIE fighter. And he said, "Luke, let's blow this thing and go home." It's like he's literally coordinating him. Go do the thing.
I coordinate you a focus. Let's do it. Love it. I do expect this to be pretty pricey, though. As it should be.
No, this will be the same 8 points, I think.
8? Yeah.
Yeah, this is more in the realm of the same price cost of the current Han Solo.
Yeah, because honestly, Han Solo's ability to reroll all their attack dice and the option to have Bistan on your Falcon and customize. We need a name for choosing your loadout now. If these are standard loadouts, customized loadouts.
And Will, by the way, I did look up the Rebel Falcon is the modified 1300. I know there's 7 different
there's
titles.
Scavenged and
Scavenged,
customized.
modified,
What's customized? Customized is the Scum one, isn't it?
The Scum one, yeah.
Ah, okay.
So,
good to know. That my dials will reflect the same ship.
I think if you remember when Han talks about the Falcon, he's like, I made a lot of special modifications myself.
That's right.
But I think this Han really shows off. I mean, Iden did a little bit too. Both of them really show off the fact that when we were thinking standardized pilots, like, all right, they're just going to put the pilot and they're going to just fill the upgrade slots for us. Maybe there'll be an upgrade slot or an upgrade that they normally can't get that they'll have on the ship, right? Like maybe one of the Adas will get auto blaster back, but only one of them, and they can't do like the giant crit chain or whatever, right?
Right.
But this went like way over the bar that I was expecting. They gave completely new abilities to the pilots, multiple in Han's case, even though they kind of dual work together in some aspect based upon his charges. They also gave some of these ships like upgrades that don't exist, or at least don't exist in the state that they do right now. This Chewbacca is bonkers. But
I mean, it's perceptive co-pilot and Jenner, so without the decisions, more or less.
It is a big deal that he specifically needs you to do an evade action. So this Han can't bump, do a focus, and get an evade like a perceptive just Jyn or so can. But I think it's still really
it's very, very neat. I'm a fan. I love it. Somebody said,
and like you said, the L3 programming, like that card is meant to be was meant to be a dual facing card. It just took one of the sides and put it on the ship, because you're right, that's the theme. Like programming's in the ship. I'm really excited for more of these now. I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but I remember when people were clamoring for more card packs. Is that not enough for you people that all were like, where's my ships? Where'd they go? AMG's not making my ships.
I need more card packs. Gimme.
Like, we got one card pack and the community was like, wow, let's get more. Now we get a scenario card pack. And they're like, whoa, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah, because we've gotten both Pride of Mandalore and Hot Shots and Aces before that were card only.
Yep.
I think both of those went over pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, the other thing that we did get is we got the back of the box, which does have two pilots that we don't have fully spoiled. I mean, it shows the name and a very blurry version of the ability. So this is Dex. And the last name, I don't know his last name, but Dex. And it looks like the ability might be, while you defend, if there is at least one other friendly ship at range 0 to 1, you may re-roll one defense die?
I think it's roll one additional defense die.
Yeah, I think it's roll one additional.
There it is. There it is. Roll one additional.
It's Evan Verlaine, but just like 1,000 times better. You're not spending a focus to do it.
There it is. There it is. And we also had,
I think his last name is Tiree, Tiree. That's the same Dax as Luke's gunner. I guess that's what you would call that position.
Wait, that's
different guy, I think. That's Dak.
It's got to be different. Dak. Yeah, Dak is the Hoth. I could take the whole empire by myself, and I just think of the Family Guy.
Okay. Okay.
And then
Dak Porkins.
We got Porkins. Will.
Well, I'll give you a second to enhance. Porkins does have the advanced proton torpedo, his iconic droid R5D8, with the same ability, but only 2 charges. Has the ability, after you gain 1 stress token, you may roll 1 attack die. If the result, to remove the stress. On a hit result, suffer 1. So that's exactly the same.
Same ability.
The difference here is the unstable overtuned engine, overlight, sublight. I can't see that second one.
I can't see what that is.
Some type, yeah.
Unstable something engines. Anyways, says after you defend,
are destroyed.
It looks like are destroyed.
Are destroyed. Yeah. Okay. You may perform a 1 forward maneuver. Then each object At probably range 1, suffers the
Probably
damage.
built-in dead man switch or something.
Right.
Where you can move
With a
for it.
boost, a dead man boost switch.
Which seems
cool.
pretty cool.
That's speculation because we can't see past it, but yeah, it'd be pretty neat.
Is it?
I mean,
it says
why
you
else would you
must.
boost after destroyed?
It doesn't say. It says you must perform.
Oh.
So it
Yeah,
says
so you
you
better
must
look out.
perform a 1. So
Because he's trying
I'm
to
sure.
extend out life a little bit longer. I can hold it.
I'm sure he can hold it. I'm sure we'll never see that ability.
Well, that's super cool. That's super cool. So those are the oops, let me get this out of the way. Those are the pilots that we got revealed there. I think overall, like I'm really excited by these. Like, this seems like a great way to get new content and breathe a little life into pilots that we've already gotten. Now, something that I forgot to mention, for the scenario of the Battle of Yavin, it's not 20 points on each side. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. It's 35 points. It's not quite epic scale. It's like half epic scale, right? So is that how that works
gotta
out?
be epic. That's almost double your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, epic before was you had one like in 1.0, you had 100 points,
And then you had
and
200.
you built to 300.
3?
Right, yeah, they did
Was that
5
much?
in 2nd edition.
Yeah.
For most scenarios, we were around 500.
Oh,
Though the Epic Scenarios pack had a bunch of different fluctuations on that.
Yeah.
So, hard to say what the standard was. But yeah, Epic's normally about twice as much.
So that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to running that. Probably do that here at the GSP studio. Have Marcel over.
yeah, that sounds fun actually.
Push some ships around. Battle of Yavin. Are you gonna fly the Empire or the Rebels? Which one?
Probably the Empire. I didn't see all of them, but some of the Empire ones looked fun. That Iden Versio
course you would
Interceptor
run
is
the
what I
bad
rolled
guys.
in on.
Makes sense.
So you want to coordinate? Cancel results. No coordinate here.
Now, this is a great question. First time caller asked, do you think the Battle of Yavin will be on a 3x3 or a 3x6?
Maybe.
Doesn't
Who
answer the
knows?
question.
I feel like that.
I'm calling 3x3.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna extend it that big.
I think it's 3x3, but what's stopping anyone if it feels too jammed? What's stopping anyone from just doing a 4x, whatever? Just make whatever length you want. Take 2 mats together and
Nobody.
set your own boundaries.
That is going to be a lot of ships, though. Like, even if the average ship count is 5 cost, or that's what I meant, average ship cost is 5. That's still going to be 11 ships on both sides.
It's the Battle of Yavin, man. There was a lot of ships around. There's a lot of
It's a lot of ships. It's going to be a lot of ships.
yeah. And then the other.
Wait, no, that's not how math works. It's not 7 ships per side, not 11. My math was off.
And then we also did get the back of the box. Okay, like I said, and it shows here. What is that? Is that 10 pilots per? 10 pilots per. I mean, do you think is the Battle of Yavin just going to be all of these pilots versus all of these pilots?
Yeah.
Like, you just play with all the toys. If
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
points,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess there's 10 pilots. So unless a couple of them are 4 points, yeah, you're not going to get a lot of fluctuation.
Yeah, because 10 times 5 is 50.
It's 50.
So
You're still about 3 ships over that 35 limit if most of them are around the 4 or 5 area.
Cool. Maybe you have to skip out on one or something like that. That sounds cool.
You know, actually, even with 35 points, regardless of how it works, I mean, this feels like it would be. There's enough points out there. There's enough flexibility. Again, you can kind of modify your own list. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a tournament type game. It's going to be more like a scenario, just for fun. There's. I don't think there's anything stopping us from taking 5 ships each and just putting everything on the board on an epic one and 2-on-2.
Yeah, Battle of Yavin
with all 10 ships on an epic mat, and yeah, go at it as an epic match.
And then a question here that came up in the chat, Lambello, asking about the 2 oversized scenario exclusive upgrade cards. Do you guys think, is that like alt arts essentially is what that is?
It says upgrade card. I have to assume that those are going to be your Proton Torpedoes. Like
scenario specific, right?
Yeah. Because it does say scenario exclusive. So I had to assume that it's going to be like red leader or gold leader or something like that, right? That you're preparing.
The trench.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like if you are range 1 of a trench token, flip this card and then you're in the trench.
Yeah.
Or something. I have to assume it something to do with the scenario. Why they're oversized? Great question.
Yeah, it's probably
for fun.
You know what? I'm gonna guess. Will, kind of going off of what you said, is it might be an upgrade card that applies to your whole squad, and that's why it's maybe bigger.
Oh, like one for each team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure, I'm sure. I have to assume that that's where the scenario rules are going to be, just to make it easier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in my head, I'm trying to imagine how this works. And I've never done any of the trench runs, like when you go to Adepticon and stuff like that, or Gen Cons, people usually set up a trench run. I've never done any of those or even seen them, so I don't know how they play out. But just even in my head as I'm trying to figure out, like, if it was all 4 of us playing with all 10 ships, like how, and you're trying to do a trench run, how would I set up? And I can honestly imagine like a scenario where the rebel side, instead of setting up in one of the board edges on the edges, like the short edge, set up at the end of the 3x6, and then the Empire sets up half and half on each side across, so that
to make it like a T. Like
exactly.
T-shape? Yeah.
That way, you're going, like, the entire rebel force is going at the same time, and then the Empire's caving in from both sides, type of thing. Again, I'm just trying to think, like, thematically how you can make it work, but it'll be interesting how they do it. But I'm also would be interested to see how people tweak it to fit, their imagination.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that those like Death Star trench tokens are probably, if you're playing on a 3x3, you like set them up at some certain range from each edge, and it might make a lane or something of that sort. Or maybe you have to fly on top. I'm excited to see what it is. I don't know. I look forward to.
I assume you'll have to fly down the trench.
Yes,
that we know for sure.
Theme. Yes, GSP Death Star tokens. You guys want them? We can make that happen. I mean, I guess technically we did it. If you played in Galaxies, to the last Galaxies, you got some Death Star pins. Yeah, so this pack looks super awesome. I'm excited to see, what it brings to our fun times, and it's going to have an impact on and I think this is, it's going to have an impact on not just casual play, but it's going to have an impact on competitive play as well, if those pilots are priced to be, you know, if they have value in a normal squad. Little bit of just random speculation here. Do you think you'll be able to bring? Maybe that's a stupid question. I was going to ask, like, do you think you'd be able to bring a standard loadout pilot and customizable pilots in one squad?
No, they got pips.
No.
Oh no, I don't mean the same pilot. I just mean, like, could I have Luke Skywalker Battle of Yavin and then like Wedge Antilles, the normal one?
Yeah,
right?
of course.
My understanding is that you can just take the standardized one and plug it into a regular squad, and it just gives you a different variation than the other Luke Skywalker would, or than the other Han Solo would. Mm-hmm. But it's still, you know, it's still just a regular squad.
Cool.
Right, as you said, like, the title is so important because it's Battle of Yavin, Luke, Battle of Yavin, Iden.
I love it. All right. Any other thoughts on this pack, my friends?
Seems like we are all good. No, I don't. I mean, and I don't have anything myself.
Okay.
Just excited to see more in this pack and more packs like these in the future.
All right.
I agree.
So if you were creative director, decision maker, what's the next battle you would do? Let's get some preferences out here.
Well, of course not.
Boom. Goes forward.
I just feel like you pick a new era, right, and you rotate the eras, right?
Okay.
So you've done original trilogy, move on to prequel or sequel. I think prequel has a little more juicy stuff to work with, maybe. It definitely has one of the more larger battles.
That's a huge.
But I guess if they didn't want to do the big battles in the later parts of the trilogy and wanted to look at episode 1, I guess they can do the Battle of Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't know how much they can really pull from that other than just here's N1 starfighters and vultures. But I think Coruscant's probably the main one. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there might be some space battle that's prominent in the Clone Wars series, but I think they want to hit movies first. So I think Coruscant's kind of the main one you can look at for the prequels.
I'd say the one where, I don't even know what it's called. I don't know any of the names, but the one with all the bombers and Rose's sister, that one.
Yeah. Everybody hates that movie, but that opening scene, super cool.
I think I've dubbed that Escape from Dakar.
Mm-hmm.
That's Resistance trying to leave that planet at the first.
Because you get X-wings, A-wings, and bombers in that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think they technically fly the couches off of the planet.
Do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There we go.
Lord jumps in one.
And Resistance transport pods. And then tie FOs, ties Fs, and then you could say, because later on in the movie you can put the silencer in there too.
Well, see, I mean, that's what I was going to say is like a 3 mission, just doing the whole Last Jedi, where you have Kylo and the silencer, though he doesn't really fight much other ships in that. Same goes for Rey at the very end of that movie when she comes in with the Falcon on the gunner. You could kind of just slot those in there with that same battle pack.
Fudge it just a little bit. It's okay.
How about the battle of chase the frigate until it runs out of fuel?
I mean,
hey, that's one.
Yeah, it would be epic.
Sounds like an Armada scenario pack.
It's a real life situation. Sometimes you run out of gas, and then the bad guys catch you. All right.
I would be down. Now I know there's not too many ships in it, but I do think the Battle of Hoth would have some fun mechanics. You gotta spin around the objectives right? To tie them up with the tow cables.
Yeah, so it's an in atmosphere battle type of thing, right?
Though I get in the movies, there's no other ships to like
Just that one, and
it's just snow speeders fighting ground forces. So they'll probably get skipped, but I think it'd be a cool one-off scenario like Droid Soccer.
I think Hoth could still happen if they incorporate not only the land start, but because eventually they escort the GR-75 with X-wings, and I would assume some Y-wings in there. We just don't see it in the movie. Maybe even A-wings. They exist. I think it's kind of funny. A lot of people are like, there weren't any interceptors at the Death Star. There were interceptors in the Rebels TV show. Like, the Death Star was huge. We sure they might have had at least a squadron of interceptors.
No.
Nope.
I'm not allowed.
Only.
I don't watch them cartoons and read them books and comics. It's not my hashtag, not my Star Wars.
Yeah, they had defenders long before the Battle of Yavin, so I'm pretty sure they could have finagled some interceptors. I think that was a little unique. That was like the defender, but we saw more later.
Would you be more excited for Battle of Scarif or Battle of Endor?
Scarif
gives you an opportunity to give a lot of pilots that we've never had cards for. I think that that's where my heart's
we
at.
need more Reaper
Blue
pilots.
Squadron, Reapers, Strikers, U-wings.
They still had Gold Squadron in that battle because they bombed the Star Destroyer.
Oh man, make a Red 5 before it was Luke.
Oh yes. What's that guy's name?
I have no idea what
we would all know it after they make that card. We all know his name after that.
We would find out.
U-wings as well. Yeah.
VCX was there.
Yes, we did see that in the Battle of Scarif. There it is. All right. Love it.
There's our new Hera card. Right?
Oh, that would be a way to get us a Hera card. That's not banned.
Yeah, that's not like some weird errata, right? It could just be a quick build. Or sorry, standard loadout. Apologies.
As everybody gets offended. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and close it out for the night. I know Marcel had a nice little nap, so this one probably seems super short for him. But that's okay. That's okay. I am excited.
Side note,
yes.
Cellbrute in the chat did provide proof that back in September at the last mini extravaganza, they did say these scenario packs are going to happen, and they said the first two would be Battle of Yavin and the Siege of Coruscant.
Nice! Yeah!
47-minute mark in the link provided in the chat. Siege of Coruscant is likely the next one, based upon what they've said in the past.
There it is. The proof is in the pudding. Gotta love it. A reminder that this upcoming weekend is the first Galactic Championship qualifier. List as of right now, we have around 60 players signed up. Looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. Of course, if you're not playing, make sure to tune in live and participate in the Galactic Championship Series. Remember, there's 5 rounds. 4 rounds gets you into the cut. 3 rounds gets you an invite to the finale Galactic Championship event in October. So looking forward to that. We have what other X-Wing things we have going on in the community here over the next couple weeks. I know XTC is getting ready to start soon. What's the deets on that?
We are finalizing lists this week. And then we head into... let me see. This would be, let me double check the schedule here. June 27th will be the first round of the XTC group phase. We, of course, also have Kyber Cup going into the elimination rounds now after 5 rounds of Swiss. So that's pretty exciting. They're doing a play-in round to make it, what do I want to say? It's like the top 64, but not, if you could imagine.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to get to an even top 32. So they're doing the what some are calling the wild card round.
Yeah, that's a good name for that. That's a good name for it. And over the next couple of weeks, we also have we have next week the Solace Qualifier. The second week of July, I will be in Orlando, Florida, streaming the planning phase syndicate open there in Orlando, Florida. That'll be super excited. Then we hit back the week after that for another Galactic Championship. Gen Con, we hope to be there in August. We will be there in August at Gen Con. I am still in talks with AMG trying to see if we can stream. So we're either streaming or playing. I mean, we're playing in anyway. Everybody gets to play in the GSP crew. But hopefully we're able to have a camera there for you guys. But we have at least one premier level event planned over, at least 2 premier level events over the next couple months. Each month, and basically 1 online and 1 in person. So should be super fun. If you want to see that full calendar breakdown, head to our Discord in that under upcoming events. And thank you everybody for hanging out with us. For everyone here at GSP, be smart, be safe. Gold, Ryan, do you want to say something? I saw you raise your hand.
I did actually.
Yes.
We're starting. The summer is like in full swing right now, and I've come across something that I would like to use this platform to ask for assistance, but also could help the entire community.
Ooh.
If you are someone, or you know someone, or an organization of people that are helping build customized play kits for local store level events, please make it known and post online links to how to acquire said kits. We don't obviously have yet store level kit support from AMG. So anything that people have made and customized themselves, make it very well known. Also get in touch with me. I'm trying to get my local scene back up, and I would like some... I already got a stash of extra prizes that I'm willing to give out of my stuff. But I would also like to see what the community's already made up, because I've already come across 1 or 2 so far that I found actually really cool, and I think more people should know about them.
All righty. And I know, Brian, I did see your message before we went on air asking about, are we going to do something? And I'm waiting on an answer from something else before I can answer that. Soon, maybe. All right.
To be continued.
To be continued, yep. All right, everybody, be smart, be safe. Gold Squadron.